So I asked 36,000 people what lineups they needed for their agents and just made them. I'm pretty good at finding lineups, so I thought I'd set myself a limit of 2 days for everything to make it a bit more challenging. If you actually want to learn the lineups, I'd recommend going along with this video in custom games, just to test everything out for yourself. Anyways, let's get started with the first agent someone requested a lineup for. Brimstone! The first and only lineup we have today for Brimstone is this lineup from B Lobby on Split to Heaven. For this one you have to walk into the corner in front of the box and position the end of the right line from the Stim Beacon UI in this corner and just left click. No jumping, no running, just a normal left click for this one. It covers this part of Heaven and is best paired with a smoke to make the smoke impossible to walk out of. Now going over to Cypher, we have an easy lineup to throw after you take side control. Just stand on the box and line up the top right end of your left health bar with this spot in the wall. You jump throw and there it is, a one way. This lineup on Ascent is supposed to cover the sideline of the common Killjoy turret spot on top of the barrels in CT because it's often left open by your smokers. For this lineup you have to stand on the edge of this box in main and put the UI line between the cage and the camera at this spot on the wall. After that you just jump throw the cage and it lands on the roof to perfectly cover the left side of the door and stairs at the same time. Next on the list for Cypher is this interesting one-way in Haven Garage. The lineup isn't precise at all on this one, but I still wanted to give a good reference point. First stand on top of this green triangle, then look up until your crosshair is a bit over the line on this thing and throw the cage. It's that simple. Now whenever someone tries to push into Garage you can just activate your cage and crouch to see their feet while they can't see you, as demonstrated by this camera at head height. Here we have another one-way. This one is fairly easy. You just stand next to the flower pot and aim about here above the security camera and throw your cage. I personally like standing over behind this cover when using it because it gives me a faster rotation towards B side so I can help out there if something goes wrong. This lineup was requested after another post where someone had accidentally thrown this got pretty popular. To make this one-way consistent I found it best to stand right here on this line and look just below the spot where the cable goes behind the box. Now you have to jump through the cage and it lands perfectly, creating a one-way on B main. After that one way we are done with Cypher and moving on to Killjoy. First up is a molly lineup you can easily throw while rotating to A to prevent a plant at generator or even kill the planter if you get a good timing. This lineup is thrown from the corner on the wall between CT spawn and mid. Once positioned correctly you have to line up the tip on the left side of the turret UI with this edge on the balcony/wall and jump throw. I created this one because the request that prompted the previous, this and the next one said somewhere from CT and I wasn't sure what exactly I should do. Here you just get on the front part of this object and line up the right side of the line on the turret UI with this spot on the wall. After that you just jump throw and it lands at generator. The last one in the Somewhere from CT series is thrown from this corner in Heaven. You have to aim at this spot on the support pipe there or whatever that is and throw. The retake ult from here with the lineup into Vine has gotten pretty popular, so I was asked to come up with a lineup that hits the other spot that people often run to, A Lobby. To make this on time with the ult I had to modify the Vine lineup as well. For the new one you stand in this corner and look at the light spot above the branch and do a normal throw. Immediately after you have to look in between these two darker leaves and also do a normal throw. I honestly don't think this molly is that useful, but it was requested, so what am I supposed to do? Another retake Killjoy ult with a similar spot to Vine on Ascent being under bells here, although these lineups aren't as safe as the ones on Ascent because of how the geometry works on Icebox. They are a lot less precise to pull off and you can usually do them by clearing the side with your team. From the nature of unprecise lineups like this there isn't really anything to line up with, you just have to kinda wing it. Feel free to pause and rewind the video here to see how exactly I'm doing these. By the way, if you enjoy these lineups or find them useful in any way, you can hit the like button to let me know and subscribe to not miss any upcoming ones. Also, only 0.2% of the people that watch me actually do this. The statistic is kinda outdated, so you could be part of the sub 500 club, just saying. Anyway, let's get on with the lineups. Now, we finally arrived at Sova. The first lineup that was requested is this attacking sonar dart into Heaven. Pretty simple, you stand in this corner, look at this line and shoot it 2 bounce 1 charged. So this shock dart to break the window in A garden was requested. I don't exactly know how this could be useful, but you never know, maybe there's a situation where it is. To line this up, you stand in this corner of B lobby and put the top left corner of the charged left click to shoot UI over the bottom left corner of this window and shoot a 0 bounce free charge dart. For this attacking lineup into lamps, you stand in this corner of A lobby and line the top left corner of the pre-charge left click to shoot UI with the end of the third line on the wall, then you shoot a 2 bounce 2 charge dart. This double shock dart lineup is a part of another 3 lineup series. The first one is to elbow. Just put the top of the shock dart UI on this edge and shoot a 0 bounce 2 charge. Wait 3 seconds and shoot the 0 bounce 1 charge while lining up the bottom right of your charge bar with this corner in the roof. The second lineup in the series is from the same spot, but this time you line up the top right corner of the right click UI with this edge of the roof and shoot a 0 bounce 3 charge. Wait 5 seconds and shoot a 0 bounce 2 charge while again lining up with the top right of the right click UI. And the last one in the series. This time there even is a new spot to stand. After you positioned yourself like I did in this clip, you line up the pyramid on top of the left click UI with the end of this metal thing and shoot a 0 bounce 3 charge. Wait 4 seconds, line up the top right of the right click UI with this edge and shoot a 0 bounce 2 charge. Okay, first I gotta admit this one wasn't found by me, it was actually found by SnapeX, but I still wanted to include it since I was asked to find one for this. First stand in this corner and shoot a 1 bounce 3 charge while having the left bounce diamond lined up with the spot on the wall. Then quickly reposition next to the box and shoot a 1 bounce 3 charge after lining up your left bounce diamond with this edge. Now, this is a bit of a weird one. I was asked to make a lineup to shoot a sonar from inside this room to B side, but I wasn't sure where on B side, so I just made the 3 easiest variations. Stand at this spot on the floor, then aim here on the cable. Shoot the dart with the amount of bounces you want and 1 charge. They will land in these different spots. And here we have the part that was the easiest for me as a former Viper main, as you can probably notice from the other lineups I upload. Anyways, for this molly you stand here on the box, line up the right end of the right health bar UI with this spot and shoot. For this lineup you have to get on top of the bridge and get to the wall, then you walk left and right until you find the furthest spot the map still says it's in CT spawn. After that you look at the top left edge of this wood and jump throw. I'm sure something similar to this already exists, but it still got requested, so I made my own. You stand behind the box, put your left click UI here, and jump throw. Easy as that. Never stand in the corner next to the box lineup. Yay! Anyways, you need to aim at this spot on the bottom edge of this brick that sticks out the wall and jump throw. And another one. Stand here, crouch, look at this spot on the box and left click. You can stand on this spot, line up the left side of the line in between the snakebite and the poison orb UI with this edge. Left click to cover the right side plant. This lineup can also be easily modified to get the left or middle part. So the last lineup I did was actually requested to be in CT spawn, and since this is technically CT spawn, here it goes. Aim where I'm aiming, then jump throw, done. For this one, stand on that spot of the plank, look here on the leaves and throw. This lineup was a highly requested one. Stand in that corner, line up the top of the Snakebite UI with this spot on the wall and left click. And no, you can't stand on the white part in the molly. Believe me, I tested that. Another molly I've been trying to find for some time. Stand in the corner and aim the top of the Snakebite UI at the corner of that window and press W and jump throw at once. This one is really precise, so if you haven't been following along in customs up to this point, I highly suggest at least trying this one out. And to finish it off, we have another 2-part series. For the first one, you just stand here on this line and look at that spot on the tree. It's kinda hard to see in the clip because my crosshair is on it, but you should be able to see it in game and just shoot it. And here's the second part. You stand on this diamond in the floor, put the left side of the line in between the smoke orb and smokescreen UI in the middle of the circle on the wall, and jump throw. That's it, all the lineups I made on request. If you want to see more lineups like these, you can check out the playlist in the info card where I post my lineups. Oh, and also if you want me to make lineups for you, just comment what you want on this video and maybe I'll feature it in an upcoming video.